So before these reflexes jump in, before all this shit happens, before this, that, before the complicated, before the unseen, and before the fucking illogical, which is what the government seems to be at this time in our status of life quo. Yeah, you heard that little. That's probably a fucking spirit in my body. Yeah, before people remain ignorant that I'm talking publicly in my backyard, before people deny that there's a third eye that I have embodied, before people do this and that, you know what I'm saying? Illogicals. Not logical. Illogicals. That was the light, it shuttered off. Before this shit happens, I lose my train of thought. It's diverted by something else, which is weird because I caught this on camera so many times. You can predict it so many times. You can see it so many times and all this other shit so many times. Logically, you connect the dots on this shit. And I'm not saying this as a conspiracy theorist because I am a goddamn conspiracy theory. Then you fucking, you put it together. You know this shit's weird. You know shit comes out of my mouth like fucking weird, whimsical talking noises and shit like that when I breathe. You know that shit. But anyways, this is back in 2013. I supposedly was struck with a supposed spiritual awakening smoking lots of weed, and I never wanted to smoke weed in my life, but I enjoyed it when I tried it, right? It was good, but I had many weird spiritual experiences I'd rather not talk about. You know what I mean? A lot of it can be classified as certain things that are very bad. Not what I've been doing or anything like that, but more so like mentally in that status. But when it comes from a clear conscience, you know what I mean? That heals itself overnight. That's just pretty fucking bizarre, strange, crazy, and weird. There's no logic or illogic behind that either. It's unexplainable. Now, I've been doing research and all this and all that, and, listening to heavy music and all this, and you know what I mean? So, what I'm pretty much saying at this point is that my head state was pretty much of an edgy teenager that was just about to graduate high school. And so, the things you do, the things you don't, you can't really explain it at that age because it's just very different for every person as an individual. There's things you can explain, there's things you can't explain. And not only that, but, you're a kid. Like, come on now. But I mean, most of the time I say stupid shit that scares everybody sometimes, or spooks them, or gives them a look on their face where they're like, huh? Or, that's just me as a person, though. But back to the main point is that there was a book I read on the internet. I don't remember the book name. I don't even know how I got there on the search engine. I found this book. It was an ancient book. The term is archaic, I believe. The archaics are the ones way outside. Way, way outside, according to terminology-wise, search definitions. So what they are is they're way outside this thing, the spectrum of existence. They're way past that. They're way past that. And there are millions of ways way past whatever. You know what I mean? Now I called upon a god, a dark god, to bless me. Okay? So when they blessed me, they were supposed to be the kindest of all the darker sided gods. because I didn't at the time feel like it would fit anything else at that time. And I hope this video doesn't cut off, but whatever. And so, after doing this, you're supposed to follow a superstition where you draw something and solve it like a test type of thing, let's just say. Now, whether I failed or passed that, I don't know. But not long after that, things in my life coincidentally started working out for itself. A little bit of money in my pocket, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Even things in my future lined up afterwards. But there was a certain time in there where I was hit with a sickness. So, I mean, I don't know what that was. It was after smoking a hell of a lot of weed. And so now fast forward to today after that event, this is where I'm at. I post weird videos. Nobody probably watches this. Doesn't matter. I don't really care. It's for me too, to watch back then. But I say this just because this is just what it is, for me at least. And you see these things that, people don't want to openly talk or say about, but that's okay with me. Like, I can play ignorant too. But you see it, Weird shit just goes on sometimes, and you don't understand why, but as cliche as that, I guess. You know what I mean? I can boast about my life and my physical attributes, but I don't want to, because it's fairly obvious in all my shadowboxing videos anyways what I can or cannot do with my body. And it's open, So, I mean, that's just what it is. Thank you.